The poison type is often considered as one of the most overlooked types in Pokemon, with how common they are across any Pokemon game. Alongside their annoying shenanigans in spreading poison status on everyone's teams, they still provide some of the greatest designs and competitive use that no other Pokemon can possess. And in today's video, we will put that theory to the test and try to beat a Pokémon Brick Bronze hardcore Nuzlocke using only poison types, where any Pokemon that faints is gone forever and they cannot use a single item in battle. So without further ado, I head towards the Pokemon lab to receive my starter, which is the pretty obvious Bulbasaur, as it is a grass and poison type, to which I nickname Cadmium, and then I head to Route 1 where I could find my second teammate of the run, a Wurmple that I nicknamed Lead. The only concern here that I have for Wurmple is that I do not have any clue on whether it will evolve into a Silcoon or a Cascoon. So I just pray that it ends up being the latter, and I enter Cheshma Town where I am forced to go into Gale Forest for my stolen pendant. To which it also allows me to find another teammate for the run, and I am actually happy it was this one, a female Nidoran that I name Arsenic, which I know will come in handy with its upcoming ground typing as well. In the meantime, Wurmple also evolves and I sigh in relief as it becomes a Cascoon, so that means I can further level it up until it evolves again into a Dustox. And then I challenge Linda, making quick work out of her since she can't hit my poison types for good damage, so I retrieve my pendant and cross the bridge to reach Route 3. There was pretty much nothing I could find around here, so it does not take long for me to head towards Sylph City's gym, challenging Chad's electric types. His Shinx is off to a scary start in the battle as it goes for Charge Beam, getting a +1 buff to special attack, while I try poisoning the Shinx with Poison Sting, which I do manage to get on the second turn as it hits me with a tackle. And the following turn, it uses Charge, raising its special defense while also boosting the power of its electric moves, to which I return a couple confusions, and across 3 turns, all I get hit with is Tackle. So Shinx is able to go down to poison damage, and as far as Pikachu is concerned, I accidentally click on Gust instead of Confusion here, and seeing Pikachu also get a special attack buff with Charge Beam, I end up making the switch to Cadmium, who is able to resist its electric moves, and I can just comfortably set up both Leech Seed and Poison Powder for passive damage and recovery, and then knock out the Pikachu with a combination of Vine Whip and Leech Seed to not only evolve Bulbasaur into Ivysaur, but also earn the Arc Badge. As I head to Route 4, I can pick up another poison type in the form of Stunky that I nicknamed Chromium, and is actually valuable throughout the run thanks to its part dark typing, allowing my team some breathing room against psychic types. I just spent some time leveling the team up a bit enough that Nidoran also evolves into Nidorina, and then I head towards Old Graveyard where I can pick up one more teammate in the form of Ghastly that I nicknamed Polonium. I then head towards Brimber City, but Jake stops me for a battle, though he's not that big of a deal anyways, and I can go inside the door to reach the city, meeting with the gym leader, and then heading towards Route 6 where I can run around once again in order to find our 6th teammate, a Zubat that I named Francium. It's a pretty amazing feeling to have a full team of 6 way early game, and that's also why I was honestly excited to give this type a shot in a Nuzlocke at all. So once I enter Mount Igneous, dealing with the majority of Clips grunts here, and the admin only proves to be a little scary with his Vullaby, but it's nothing that I cannot handle. So I just thwart his plans, and I am able to access the second gym. I make a stop by the Battle Coliseum to teach Nidorina Dig to try making things a little smoother in terms of fighting the gym leader, and as I level up the team just high enough near the level cap, it allows me to evolve not only Zubat into Golbat, but also Ghastly into Haunter, and then I can go challenge Sebastian's fire types. I lead with Nidorina against his Litleo, and it turns out I'm still slower than him, but Takedown ends up missing, so I can use Dig, to which it doesn't even deal half of Litleo's health, and on the next turn, I get nailed with a somewhat soft overheat from Litleo before going for another Dig, which does manage to get it to red health, and Litleo just ends up throwing by using Noble Roar, allowing me to kill it with a bite. Up next was Growlithe, and knowing that I will survive any attack it throws at me, I stay in and go for a dig, dealing a little bit of damage to it before getting hit with a Flame Wheel that results in a critical hit, forcing me to make a ballsy switch into Dustox here, since I can survive an overheat either way, and I hit it with a Venoshock, dealing solid damage before getting hit with an overheat leaving me at just 19 HP. And then I can finish off the Growlithe with another Venoshock. Last was Magmar, and unfortunately there was no safe scenario here for me to switch in any of my Pokemon, so with a heavy heart, Dustox has to be sacrificed here in order for its teammates to have room, so rest in peace Led, you are toxic no more. At least with Dustox being able to take a Venoshock before falling, Francium here can come out and take the Magmar down with 2 wing attacks to win the Brimstone badge, but at the cost of our beloved Dustox. Route 7 has nothing in particular that we can find, so I just head to the Lumberjack Shack in order to fix the dam and reach Laguna Lake, though not before I make a stop in the trade resort in order to evolve my Haunter into Gengar, and from there I just go diving in order to pick up some items and more importantly, finding a Moonstone that allows me to evolve Nidorina into Nidoqueen. And then I can go pick up the fishing rod as well for a future encounter before walking inside Route 8, and I can find another poison type here in the form of Bellsprout that I name Iodine. And then engaging in some 2v2 battles with Jake that also results in Ivysaur evolving into Venusaur and Golbat into Crobat before finally reaching Rose Cove City. I stop for a little bit by the sea to fish for another poison type in the form of a Tentacool that I catch and nickname Mercury, and then I train up the team against all the Eclipse Grunts around the area that also lets me evolve Stunky into Skuntank, with which I've pretty much got a stacked team that allows me to breeze past the admin as well, leaving Kyogre to do the honors, and then I can go head towards the 3rd gym where I challenge Quitten's water types. It's a little annoying that as soon as the battle starts, the moment I click on growth, Wilmer just uses Scald which instantly gets the burn, and my grass move is a physical one. So I end up being forced to set up 2 more growths in order to get +3, which proves to be just enough for my Venusaur to still breeze past his team and obtain the float badge. I meet with Jake and Tess at Route 9 and engage in a battle with them, shredding these 2 frauds with ease, and then I make sure to use a repel here so I am able to reach the Grove of Dreams in order to find another poison type in Venipede that I name Beryllium. The reason why I went to the Grove of Dreams first was because Venipede is found on both routes, and thanks to Species Clause, this allows me to eliminate the chance of finding Venipede on Route 9, allowing me to find another option in it in the form of Roselia that I catch and name Fluorine. And then I can head towards Route 10, where Absol wants to smell some toxic chemicals on me for no reason, and then climb up Mount Kragenos where as soon as I reach the cliffs, I can evolve Tentacool into Tentacruel. But then a sudden realization hits me that made me facepalm in real life, because I just remembered that I missed an extremely important encounter I could have picked up in Laguna Lake. And that means that I have to walk all the way back to it. The encounter that I was talking about was pretty much inside the daycare, where this girl can give me one of the 2 poison types, which are either a Seviper or a Toxel. And obviously enough, I need a Toxel since this is our major key up against the upcoming flying gym, though I just need to spend some time running around in circles until my head gets dizzy in order to hatch it, and I name it Chlorine, to which I train it up all the way to level 30 so that it can evolve into a Toxtricity, and then I can head towards the end of the mines in order to reach the peaks and take the balloon towards Anthean City, where after I talk to Gerald, I move on to the 4th gym so that my Toxtricity can level up with relative ease, and then I can challenge Steven's flying types. Leading with Toxtricity, I get hit with a Brave Bird that virtually does nothing, and I can take it out with 1 overdrive. Then against the Skarmory, its best move is Slash, so I'm pretty safe here anyways, and I can finish it off with both Discharge and Boom Burst. His incoming Aerodactyl is scary because it has Earthquake as one of its moves, being able to kill my Toxtricity, so what I do here is switch it to Venusaur, where I eat an Aerial Ace in the process, but not so much that it does not allow me to use Sleep Powder, and then I make the switch back into Toxtricity, which can get the kill with an Overdrive. His second Staraptor opts to go for a double team here, so a singular Overdrive is enough to kill it, And then finally was Braviary, which I gambled on staying even though a Zen Headbutt or Crush Claw will kill me, but it ends up going for Aerial Ace, allowing me to hit an Overdrive, and then I switch into Crobat knowing I will survive any move no matter what, and finish off the Braviary for the Soaring badge. With that out of the way, I meet with Tess at the sewers where I can also pick up a Coughing that I named Thallium, and then I just shred past a lot of the fights with Nidoqueen until I'm outside the sewers, to which I find Jake and engage in a battle with Professor Cypress. Venusaur does not scare me at all, so I'm safe to switch out Absol into Crobat here as it uses a Solar Beam, so on the next turn I am safe to defeat the Venusaur with 1 Acrobatics. Then Feraligatr does manage to hit hard with Ice Punch, but not below half, so I make sure to use Leech Life in order to get back some HP to not risk a high roll here, but it ends up using Screech so I can take it out with another Acrobatics. Blaziken's bad defense stat also lets it succumb to 1 Acrobatics, and I am amazed at how Torterra actually survives the Acrobatics, but it ends up nailing me with a Wood Hammer so it falls shortly after. Samurott causes me to switch out into Venusaur here, but I do get hit with a pretty nasty Ice Beam here, and Petal Blizzard does not get the kill, so gambling on Samurott not going for Ice Beam again, I click Petal Blizzard as it uses Ice Beam, which unfortunately also marks the end of Venu. Except it survives on 1 HP! Last was his Delphox, with which I am comfortable to switch in Skuntank here, and I am able to take it down with 2 Night Slashes, defeating Cypress, leaving just a Bomber to be stopped, but Venusaur just spams Synthesis every time he uses Explosion, so I am free to head back to Kragenos Peaks in order to take the Skytrain down to Route 11 and eventually into Iridia City, and then inside Old Iridia in search for the gym leader, whom I find inside the ruins battling Team Eclipse, which I assist him with, and I get access to the 5th gym, with which I make a dash to, digging around the gym in search for him and challenging his ground types. The plan for this one was pretty straightforward as long as I don't get too much speed drop. I Mega Evolve my Venusaur first turn and knock out the Quagsire so as to not get my accuracy dropped with Muddy Water or Ice Beam doing hard damage to me. And then when Steelix comes out, I put it to sleep with Sleep Powder and begin setting up Growls on it, getting to at least +2 to make the job easier against the gym leader. Although before I got to attack him next turn, I do get hit with a Bulldoze lowering my speed, but I can knock out the Steelix later with a Petal Blizzard. Having -1 speed now means that the incoming Claydol can threaten me with a Psychic, which it actually goes for, but Venusaur stays at some decent amount of health, and I can finish it off with another Petal Blizzard. Next was Excadrill, which I should be alright no matter what move it goes for, so I can heal back with Synthesis, and putting it to sleep as well to stay at a good position against his incoming Garchomp, with which thanks to Thick Fat, Firefang here does not kill my Venusaur, so I can retaliate with a Petal Blizzard that does only health, and on the following turn I go ahead and make the switch into Crobat here, who will survive whatever move it's receiving, and it ends up taking none because Garchomp goes for Bulldoze. And even though a Flying Gem boosted Acrobatics doesn't kill it, the next one seals the deal, and I obtain the Crater Badge. Route 12 has nothing to offer for me, so I walk past it until I enter Route 13, and even though I have the chance to catch a Fungus here, I end up saving that for when I really need it most, so I am able to reach Floroma City afterwards. To which I instantly head to the gym because of the obvious structure of our team having an absolutely overwhelming advantage against the grass gym, and as soon as I battle Fissy, it's just one kill after another with Toxtricity, except once Tangrowth is out, I make the switch into Crobat here to avoid the Earthquake, but surprisingly it smartly goes for Knockoff, removing my Flying Gem, and meaning that Crobat now needs both an Acrobatics and Leech Life to recover back some damage that Tangrowth deals to me with Solar Beam. And last was his Venusaur, but it's no big deal since I can just easily kill it with 2 Acrobatics for a very simple Harvest Badge. With Tess giving me Rock Climb and meeting her at the very end of Route 14, I'm also required to cook Jake once again, only this time Nidoqueen mostly does the work, and I navigate through the snowy Route 15 all the way until I reach Frostvale City, where the team can go train up a little bit so that I can go inside the 7th gym and challenge Zeke's Dark types. Prior to the battle, I thought Toxtricity Volt Switch here since I'm going to need better positioning before this Crocodile is sent out, and knowing I won't get the kill with a Volt Switch here, I just attack with Sludge Bomb on Honchkrow, and then I can take it down with the Volt Switch, allowing me to switch out into Venusaur here before the aforementioned Crocodile is sent out. And then I Mega Evolve it as I use Grass Knot on it while I get hit with an Earthquake, so another one seals the deal. Bisharp allows me to safely switch into Nidoqueen here, and even though I get hit with an Iron Head, the next turn lets me defeat it with one superpower. And then with Umbreon up next, this now lets me bring back Venusaur with no repercussions since Umbreon cannot do a single thing besides using the rather weak Assurance, and I can just set up to +3 with Growth while recovering back my health with Synthesis in order to stay at some pretty decent health until I'm able to knock out the Umbreon thanks to toxic damage that I set up with Skuntank beforehand. The next Crocodile easily falls to a Grass Knot, and finally was this Mecha Houndoom who, thanks to Thick Fat, guarantees that I can survive an Inferno at least once, but it ends up using Shadow Ball instead, so one Sludge Bomb is enough to take it down and get the Contrast badge. Right before I can make even progress, Tess chooses to battle me, with which Tentacruel now knows Ice Beam that is also boosted by a Nevermelt Ice and can handle her pretty easily. So I slide down the mountain, walk inside Cosmos Valley, and then move towards Port Deca where Brad meets me there, giving me the Surf HM that allows me to go across Route 17 and eventually Crescent Town, with which I locate the hideout for Team Eclipse and begin my infiltration there until I'm able to access the control room and unlock access to my parents' jail room as I chase after them, but I end up being forced to manhandle Jake yet again with Zero Sweats broken as I go back to chase after Team Eclipse from Route 18 to the insides of the outpost and deep down the Demon's Tomb. With Cypress breaking the seal and revealing Hoopa, I am forced to put a stop to him with a battle. I lead with Crobat against his Greninja since the only moves I can get hit with is Water Shuriken or Shadow Sneak, but with Leech Life intact, I can pretty much recover back the damage, so that's exactly what happens here as it falls to two of them. Decidueye is next, but it's nothing a Flying Gem boosted Acrobatics cannot deal with, and Incineroar makes me switch out into Tentacruel here, getting hit with a pretty rough Darkest Lariat here as I return a Surf that does not kill, but it ends up going for Flare Blitz the next turn, so another Surf defeats it. Empoleon here makes me switch out into Venusaur here since the only thing I'm threatened with is a Steel Wing, but even then it won't do anything major, so I just Mega Evolve and set up some growths while making sure to recover back the damage with Synthesis and then take out the Empoleon with Grass Knot. The same is applied to Sceptile, who hits me with an Earthquake, but a Sludge Bomb knocks it out, and finally was his Charizard Eggs, whom I can safely stay in no matter what and can kill it with a single Sludge Bomb to defeat Cypress, of which he gets tossed into the portal, and Jake ultimately sacrifices himself, leaving Hoopa up to me, who is just a cakewalk with Skuntank. So with the world now saved, all I had to do was one obstacle to get rid of, and it was the battle against Captain B's Ghost types. I lead with Skuntank as she brings out Gengar, and I am pretty amazed how Gengar actually survives the Night Slash here, though all it does is use Hex, and on the next turn it uses Nightmare, so it's not long before it falls. Hilariously enough, Decidueye, who has somewhat better defenses than Gengar, actually dies to one Night Slash, so I assume that this thing has a minus nature in defense. Spiritomb allows me to poison it with the Toxic here as it goes for Nasty Plot, but after seeing just how nasty its next Dark Pulse was in terms of damage, putting me in the red, I make the switch into Nidoqueen here, but Spiritomb just chooses to kill itself by using Memento, so that's a relief. Miss Magius here does not have an offensive move, so I can just switch back Skuntank here and knock it out with both a Night Slash and Flamethrower. And once Aegislash is back again, I can switch into Nidoqueen on an incoming Sacred Sword here that does absolutely nothing, and Earthquake eliminates it out of play. Finally was her Mega Sableye, of which I stay in with Nidoqueen, and an Earthquake here deals some decent damage, but when it uses Mean Look, I just knew that I just got this in the bag, and it takes 2 more Earthquakes here to not only defeat Captain B and earn the Haunted Badge, but also complete a Pokemon Frontier Hardcore Nuzlocke using only Poison types. Poison is actually one of my favorite types to use in-game, considering how many fun tactics you can pull off with them, and I absolutely adored every single battle I did in the game while using them, so I hope people can also find a soft spot for them as well. If you guys reached this far into the video, thank you guys so much for watching, and do consider dropping a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.